Well, hello there. I've just recently bought this, the Victorinox Companion, and it's a fantastic urban EDC, I think, great. But I'm not a big fan of Solidor, these slippery red plastic handles. I just find them just extremely slippery. I've had this just a couple of days and I've so much as looked at it sideways, so it's already got little scratches and things on it, so I'm just going to swap the scales around. Got a few of the random scales here, they're a bit grippier, and we'll give it a little bit more character. So I'm just going to whip the scales off the Companion, slap these on. If you've never done it before, it's really easy to do. So let's have a little look at doing that. So yeah, I don't know if you can see really if that's showing up on screen at the minute, but it has already picked up quite a few little scuffs and scratches just by looking at it the wrong way. And I just don't like the feel of Solidor. If your knife's oiled, these just get really greasy and slippery. I just don't like it. I've got a few other scales here. These ones were quite cheap, but they're just cheap 3D printed ones. And the problem for me, with cheap 3D printed ones is you tend to get these layer line marks. Some 3D printers are much better and you can barely notice them, but you can notice them on these scales. And I don't know if I fancy the bright pink myself, so I've got some absolutely fantastic scales. These are 3D printed, but these are proper industrial quality, professional quality ones from a website that was called Shapeways, which has now ceased trading, unfortunately. These are absolutely fantastic. They're really grippy, extremely precise. So I'm probably gonna whip the grey ones off this compact and swap them over and put them on the Companion. And as I said, it's pretty easy to do. A lot of folks recommend you soak your knife in some warm water to loosen the scales up. I'm not going to bother doing that. I'm going to use another Swiss Army knife. I've got a little wonderful Sportsman here to just try and prise the scales off. Let's get the scale tools out first. Then you can use anything, you know, sharp and flat enough to get into the cracks there. I find a little can opener edge is pretty good for the job. I always try and start it off behind the corkscrew, because if you do damage the scales, they're not going to be as well seen there. You just slide it under, little twist, slide it along, little twist, and it's off. Little twist in the middle, slide that down there, little twist, and it's off. Simples. So by not soaking these in hot water first to loosen them up, I find that you can get sort of 3 or 4 goes of reapplying them and they'll hold on okay. I mean, after that, I guess you could use a bit of Loctite or something. Or super glue. Yeah, there's a little bit of the plastic is fractured and splintered off there. I'm not that bothered, these are just red scales. Let's try the other side. Slide it in. Oh, they're well on. Okay, that has gone under. Little twist. Slide it along, little twist, pop, super simple. See there, a little bit of the red plastic has been fractured there. That's it, a new fresh clean knife. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with these grey scales. So again, I've got the tools out of this set. Just same thing again. I've got to try and be much more careful with these scales because I can't get a replacement set for these. Shapeways is now gone, so I'm going to try and be careful as I can. That's slid under there, no problem. A twist, slide it along, a gentle twist, that popped off, no problem. Look at those from Shapeways, beautifully clean and precise. Pin slot and everything, yeah, nice. Let's get the other side off. Again, this is a bit trickier on the scale that's not next to the corkscrew, but that's gone under okay. Gentle twist there. Just pop those off. Let's have a look. See if they've stayed nice and flat. Yes, they look like they've stayed nice and flat. So then you just whack them on the new knife. Line up the holes. Perfect size. They've snapped on, no problem. Let's just try the other side. Might be able to just see a tiny bit of flex in there. I mean, if I can be bothered, I could just dab a little dab of glue on the pins just to hold it on, but I think that's going to stay on absolutely fine. Done. Didn't take long, did it? Piece of cake. Normally, or sometimes I have to pop this into my little vise in my garage, protect the scales with some fabric or something, and give them a gentle squeeze to pop scales on. Well, those ones have just popped on, no problem at all. Done. And I think I'll have the coloured tools in this one. Let's just pop those bits back. Eyeglass screwdriver, little pin. That's not staying in there very securely. I'm just going to give that pin a little bit of a bend with my fingers. Hopefully that'll just stay in there a bit better. Yeah, that's more secure now. Lovely. I always pop a paper clip behind the corkscrew as an added extra bit of utility. We'll have the green toothpick, pressurised pen, red tweezers. There you go, done. Took all of a couple of minutes, and yeah, I've jazzed up my brand new companion. These scales just feel really grippy. Nice matte texture, really like them. You can get a load of replacement scales from the likes of Etsy or eBay. There were even some on Amazon. I can highly recommend seller Taschen Messer Mad on Etsy. It does really beautiful Mikata and G10 Plus scales. Check him out if you want a really nice set of scales for your knife. But yeah, that'll do for me. Happy with that. So yeah, easy. Thanks for having a look, and I hope that was useful for someone that's never changed scales before. Thanks a lot, and hasta luego.